Ministers of the government and joint forces took to the streets in a huge national cleanup operation. Missing St. Ignatius village teen found afloat at Baboon Island. An engine breakdown caused a tragic disaster on the Essequibo River. In the region, 4 killed after a stand collapsed during COLOMBIA bullfight, and internationally, no visible wounds, 22 persons found dead in South Africa's bar. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. A missing teen mother was discovered dead afloat in the Mazaruni River. The circumstances surrounding her death are being investigated by police. Esther Sobers has more details.
The case of the missing 19-year-old bartender Anissa Miguel has been solved. The commander of Region Division No. 7, Mr. Dion Moore, said ranks from the division acted on information received and went to Baboon Island, Middle Mazaruni, where they observed a body afloat face down on Sunday, June 27th. The 19-year-old mother of one from St. Ignace Village, Letem Region 9, was working as a bartender when she mysteriously disappeared on June 17th after a night of imbibing with friends at Martin's Landing located along the Mazaruni River in Region 7 district. The teen's aunt, Ingrid Miguel, who was looking after the niece's child, was worried when she hadn't heard from the woman. She had first reported the matter on Facebook on June 22nd, asking for assistance in finding the missing woman. The police had initially detained a bar owner and 2 salesgirls who were reportedly among her drinking companions on the night she went missing. It didn't take long for them to learn Miguel's last whereabouts from the locals, who were seen with her hanging with friends at Martin's Landing. The bar owner, currently being held by police, asserted that Miguel was not one of her drinking companions and that she had no knowledge of her whereabouts. Her employer claimed that she left her place of employment earlier that day in a speedboat to go to Martin's Landing with 2 saleswomen. Even a selfie of them traveling together in the speedboat headed to the destination was taken by one of the salesgirls. Later, Miguel was observed having drinks at a bar with them and other people. The body was discovered approximately 4 miles from Martin Landing, where Miguel was reportedly missing, barefoot and clad in blue jeans and a pink shirt, when the body was brought ashore and examined by a detective. It was found that the area around the neck showed a red mark. It was taken to the Ignatius police station, where it awaits transportation to Georgetown for a post-mortem examination. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Ministry of Home Affairs has launched an investigation into the alleged act of trafficking in persons after 15 females suspected to be Venezuelan nationals were discovered during a cordon and search exercise at Club Plan B located at 335 Public Road, Sturtville, West Coast, Demerara. The operation was conducted by ranks of the Ghana Police Force during the wee hours of Saturday, June 25th. The 15 foreign nationals were questioned and an investigation was launched into alleged acts of trafficking in persons. 3 persons were detained by the police for questioning. The ministry will provide further updates as they become available and wish to further notify the public that the Ghana Police Force will continue to monitor these establishments. Following a series of unfortunate incidents on the Essequibo River, 26 persons are grateful to be alive tonight, Esther Sobers explains.
8 comedians and 18 other passengers are thankful for their survival following an engine failure on the Essequibo River around 2:30 p.m. last Saturday, snowballing into a series of traumatic events. A viral video on social media shows multiple people standing in the river and mangrove trees stranded as the vessel they were in lay semi-submerged. In a phone interview with Headline News, Chris Gopal, one of the comedians on the boat, recalled the events that occurred during the turbulent journey.
We left Puerto Rico in a boat. About halfway across the river, the boat had engine problems. It broke down. The man called for another boat to come and take us from his boat to their boat. And he told them, he said, we have 18 passengers, including babies on board. The guy turned up with passengers in his boat. And of course, I was one of the last persons off the boat because I was in the back of the other boat. So when I got on, I didn't really see how much people in the boat or whatever, but I know it was full because we were sitting in the front seat of the bow, and it took me, Jumbi, and it had 2 other guys sitting on either sides of us, right? One on the left, one on the right. So we had 4 people in the little front seat and a set of luggage. So Jumbi was telling me, why this boat ain't plain enough, this boat ain't plain enough.
Unfortunately, the passengers' bad luck didn't end there. The speedboat began to sink minutes into the voyage. As a result, the skipper of the vessel diverged to the nearest riverbank.
After we had already left the other boat, he's saying, Chris, this boat taking in a lot of water, and the water coming through the front of the boat. So we looking thin. So I tell you, I said, John, we don't panic. If you panic, people in this boat gonna panic. And if this boat goes, if this boat goes sideways, if it tips sideways, people gonna drown. So I'm telling him, I said, stay quiet, don't panic. If the boat goes down, we can put people up top the boat, because I know the boat don't sink, right? So the captain push, get the boat for me up in the car now. When the boat hit the car now, the bow snap in half. Of course, everybody tried to make their way out. People were panicking, but they realized the water was shallow enough, so they started to stand up. They had this one lady in the boat start screaming, but save she baby, save she baby. Michael Ignatius went to her rescue, snatched the baby out of her hand, and put the baby in the boy's hand in the tree. That's how the boy ended up sitting with that baby in his hands. Michael Ignatius gave him that baby to hold. I had another baby in me hand holding, and the waves was heavy because the water was high. The waves were heavy. So I was trying to balance with the baby in my hand.
The passengers were eventually saved by another boat, dispatched from Parika and safely taken to Supernan. The passengers were grateful for their lives and relieved that nothing worse had happened. There were no significant injuries recorded. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Stick around after the break. Ministers of the government and the joint forces took to the streets in a huge national cleanup operation, and a 34-year-old man's lifeless body was discovered at the Kendron housing scheme. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands, and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money,
you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to. A juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma. And to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Welcome back. Ministers of the government and members of the Ghana Defense Force and the Ghana Police Force took to the streets on Sunday morning in a massive cleanup effort to commence the National Enhancement exercise to promote a cleaner and healthier environment for all Guyanese. Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips said while there were several cleanup campaigns in the past, this is a countrywide effort.
You know, we had several cleanup campaigns before, but today is not only Georgetown, all right? This is a cleanup campaign that is in all the regions. In town today, we have 26 officers and just about 390 ranks from the Ghana Defense Force. And we have 100 ranks from the Ghana Police Force that are engaged in cleaning between Pegasus and Camp Street. And they've also committed that every month, this is just Georgetown, but police countrywide are doing cleanups too. It's a good exercise. It's something that not only the government should be involved in, but the people, the private sector, and I see some private sector agencies are involved in this modern exercise, and we expect that the participation will grow. So you see more private sector agencies involved, but more than that, we need the community and the community leadership throughout Guyana to get involved in cleaning up their community.
Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, said the goal of the cleanup campaign is to start a movement.
It's to bring awareness to people that littering is illegal, that if we want to transform Guyana, we have to start with the little things. So government has a huge transformational agenda, of course, but if we can't get the little things right, if we can't take pride in our surroundings, then we wouldn't see the Guyana that we all desire to see.
Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Juanage Waldron, during the National Enhancement exercise at the East Rheinfeld Market, said Guyanese could play an important role in keeping the environment clean by being more responsible when disposing of garbage. She said citizens should maintain their carpets and take responsibility for their immediate surroundings. When traveling, she added, one should not toss their garbage on the road, but rather keep it close and dispose of it using a garbage container. Minister Waldron also said everyone could get involved.
For the citizens, for them to see that even on this level, at the ministerial level, the high-ranking officials in the army, everybody can get involved and everybody can lend a hand into beautifying and keeping our city and our country clean and ridding it of the garbage that is become a real bugbear to us in our everyday life.
She further stated that a clean environment could aid the development of the tourism sector. Meanwhile, Minister of Education Prem Manichan made a call to citizens to desist from littering.
In our great development, to change some of our habits too, so that we could get to a place where we don't have this kind of cleanup that's necessary. We are calling on people not to litter. It is our country. It is not someone else's country. We're not doing this to someone else when we do it. We do it to ourselves and our children. And the information and science on how litter affects the environment and the people who occupy that environment is clear. It's in, and it's unhealthy and nasty. Outside of being ugly to the eye, it actually is dangerous and damaging to us as a people.
The Ghana Police Force is looking into the circumstances surrounding the finding of a middle-aged man's lifeless body on the west coast of the Marara. More from Esther Sobers.
Police in Regional Division Number 3 are on the hunt for 3 Venezuelan nationals to assist in the investigation of an alleged murder committed on a 34-year-old man whose lifeless body was discovered at the Kindred Housing Scheme West Coast Demerara on Sunday, June 26, 2022. The man has been identified as Lensford Kenwin Dugdrid. Inquiries disclosed that around 11 p.m. on Saturday, Dugdrid visited the location inquiring about a 22-year-old female Venezuelan national. The owner of the property informed the man that the woman was not at home. Around 3:30 on Sunday morning, the property owner reported hearing a scream. Upon investigating, he saw Dugdrid pulling the 22-year Venezuelan national by her hair, while another female Venezuelan national held on to Dugdrid's waist from the back. He said the trio ended up fighting in the drain when one of the suspects with a knife began stabbing the man's leg. A third suspect appeared with a cutlass and began to chop Dugdrid about his body. The suspect bound the man with a rope before escaping. The police were summoned. The man's body was removed from the drain and examined. A rope was tied around his leg and neck. The body had multiple chops to the head and several stab wounds. A cell phone and a pair of female running boots were recovered in the drain. A knife was also found nearby. The police searched the house and found the remaining rope and one cutlass near a plastic barrel that contained water, along with a pair of long pants and one shirt with mud. As the police continue a search for the suspects, investigations continue. A post-mortem examination performed on the body of Kenwade Dugdrid has indicated that the man died as a result of hemorrhage and shock due to multiple incisive wounds. Watch on to Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Ranks of the Guyana Police Force, acting on information received, was successful in nabbing a suspect who successfully eluded detectives for the past 20 years. 51-year-old murder suspect Gutierre Jerome Fernandez was arrested by the police from Anna Regina Police Station at Underneming Sandpit area on the Essequibo coast on Saturday, June the 25th. Fernandez, a laborer, was arrested for the alleged murder of his reputed wife, Roshani Sukulal, which occurred in 2002 at Diamond East Bank, Demerara. Reports said that Sukulal had left Fernandez after years of abuse and had moved in with her brother at Diamond. She had rejected all his plea for her to return home. On the day in question, Sukulal had visited a female friend's home where she spent all day. Later that night, the friend decided to follow her home on the dirt road. The friend then heard Sukulal screaming and saw her struggling with Fernandez, who was armed with a knife. The man reportedly slashed her throat while the friend managed to escape. Fernandez fled and evaded the law until his arrest on Saturday. He is presently in custody at the Anna Regina Police Station. Don't go away after the break. No visible wounds. 22 persons found dead in South Africa's Bar and India. Why animal-human conflict is on the rise in Kashmir.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. At least 4 people have been killed and hundreds more injured in central Colombia when part of a wooden stand collapsed during a bullfight, Al Jazeera's Barbara Angupo reports.
This is the moment multiple levels of a wood and bamboo stand caved in, turning a popular bull running festival into a tragedy. Several spectators were killed, while others say they were lucky to survive.
8 boxes collapsed structurally. You can already see that it's a wood structure. We were in the ring when we saw this structure falling in a domino effect.
I fell from the second floor, and that's how I broke my foot and my right wrist. It was like a game of dominoes. It just swept around and brought all those stands crashing down.
Unlike Spanish bullfighting, animals are not killed at festivals known as corralejas. Members of the public are invited to enter the ring and taunt the animals. There have been many calls to ban the practice.
This has come up legally in Colombia before. Bogota has banned the practice before it was overturned by the Constitutional Court several years ago. In Sincelejo, the event that he's referencing, northern city in Colombia, known for these bull festivals, in 1980, 3 levels of the wooden balconies collapsed and left 400 people dead and 4,000 injured. And that town then suspended the festivals for 19 years, but then resumed again in 1999 before being suspended again in 2013. So this has been a political issue.
Some bulls escaped the ring and ran through the streets of El Espinal, injuring bystanders. The incident may prompt the incoming president to regulate the practice, which forms a strong part of many Colombians' cultural identity. But for now, the focus is on treating the wounded and finding out why the stadium collapsed. Barbara Angopa, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, at least 22 young people were found dead at a nightclub under mysterious circumstances in the township in South Africa's southern city of East London. Al Jazeera's Rory Challant reports.
Police, forensic teams and onlookers gathered at a South African township pub on Sunday. But what killed many young people inside this building in the city of East London is still a mystery. Officials have said the bodies don't show obvious signs of injury. They were found strewn across the tables, chairs and the floor. Investigators are taking samples for signs of poisoning. It's believed the place was busy on Saturday night as teenagers from the Scenery Park area celebrated after high school exams. The deaths have raised questions about youth alcohol consumption and safety standards at the informal local bars that Enyobeni Tavern is typical of. Parents of the victims spoke of their shock.
We have a child that was there who passed away on the scene. That's the information that we have. This child we were not thinking would die this way. This was a humble child, respectful, and he listened. But as we know, kids will always be kids. From the information we have, he was with one of his friends and they'd attended a function after their exams and had finished at school. They hired a car and went to that place. He was 17, turning 18 in November. We are very sad indeed. We are unemployed and we don't even know where to start. His father here is not even well. We are parents who don't know what to do.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa expressed his deepest condolences to the families of the victims. Those families waited outside the morgue where bodies had been taken, hoping for news and for answers. Rory Challant, Al Jazeera.
And finally, attacks by wild animals are on the rise in Indian-administered Kashmir. 3 children were mauled this month and 4 others were attacked by a bear on Friday. Al Jazeera's Pavni Mattel reports.
Halima Bano has experienced the unimaginable. She saw her daughter being attacked by a leopard.
Relatives and neighbors are mourning with the family as it copes with the trauma.
I was walking with my daughters when I saw one of them being dragged. I tried to chase it, but my other daughter shouted, "Stop! The leopard will kill us too." I told her to get help while I tracked the animal.
Indian-administered Kashmir is seeing a sharp rise in attacks like these. Wild animals have killed at least 10 people since January and wounded nearly 150 others. Most of them are believed to have been attacked by leopards or bears. Ali Muhammad managed to survive a bear attack many years ago. He says the emotional scars are harder to heal.
I face a lot of discrimination. People run away when they see me. No one walks with me and they always keep their distance. It's hard to take public transport.
Authorities have stepped up tracking efforts. Dr. Omar Nazir's team has been implanting microchips in the animals. It's a dangerous and time-consuming process that he says is critical to stopping these attacks.
Whenever the animal is released back into the wild, if we get to recapture the animal again, this gives us a sense, this gives us the idea about the movement pattern, what is the range of the animal, and a lot of the things that help us to devise various protocols, various strategies how to combat the man-animal conflict.
Experts say increased human activity like agriculture, deforestation, and building homes near forests is causing these attacks.
The pressure on the natural spaces, natural habitats, and which would definitely amount to alteration in the habitats of different animals, which will tend to the adaptations, and these adaptations either we see in the form of leopards getting urbanized, or the black bears, they get socialized.
People in this restive Himalayan region say they are living under constant fear. Authorities have stepped up patrols and say they are trying to respond to incidents faster. They admit they cannot completely stop these attacks, but insist they are trying to prevent them by raising awareness. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now to 3 weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.